Alex, let's talk about the top three needs for the LA Chargers for the draft, starting with draft need number three.
I think you could go a lot of different spots with this position, but I'm personally going to go with defensive tackle. I think they need someone who can pass rush on the interior. We've seen value of it skyrocket across the league with guys like Chris Jones and Matabuke in Baltimore. The Eagles spending 2 first-round picks, and the Chargers, the Eagles spending 2 first-round picks on Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. And the Chargers just haven't had that interior pass rushing presence. I think Morgan Fox is a decent situational pass rusher, and they have some guys that I think have some promise, but they really haven't had a true blue chip defensive tackle prospect that has been drafted. I think they haven't used a top 4 round pick on a defensive tackle since Justin Jones in 2018. It's been a while since they've spent a pick there, and I think in Jesse Minter's defense, particularly. As you see with Mike McDonald's system previously in Baltimore as well, and Chris Jenkins at Michigan. I just think it would help them, free up Joey Bosa, free up Khalil Mack to get some of those pressures. So I'm actually going to go with defensive tackle. Could debate a couple positions here, but I got DT.
Okay. Draft need number two.
Draft need number 2 is corner for me. I think that they need a sort of lockdown corner. They hoped that the J.C. Jackson contract obviously would go better than it did. And they don't really have a future at corner right now. Asante Samuel Jr. kind of on an expiring contract. I don't know what his future is, kind of with the new regime that ultimately didn't draft him. And I think if you want to have some shutdown corner for all the stud wide receivers that are in the AFC now, I think that starts in the draft. And so I think they ultimately probably have to use a top 75 pick at corner. I don't think you can come out of the draft with one. Obviously, you have a lot of top guys there at the top, but you also have your great slot corners like Mike Sainristil from Michigan, Max Melton of Rutgers fame. So I think that they definitely have to address corner. Otherwise, I don't see this defense going too well next year. When you have to go up against all the talent there is really in the AFC.
All right, next up, and first and foremost, let's get to draft need number 1 for the LA Chargers.
It's wide receiver. They don't have a wide receiver, one that can really carry the team right now. Josh Palmer, I think, has been solid to his credit. Has had 700, 800-yard seasons, but was injured a lot of last year. Quentin Johnston's first year was certainly a little rougher than I think some expected. I expect him to take a leap in year 2, but I don't think you can bet on that entirely, and especially when you have a wide receiver class that is thought to be as historically good as this is, and who knows when the Chargers are going to be picking at 5 again, under Jim Harbaugh, if the rebuild goes the way that they think it will. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. I just think if you, again, as we talked about with wide receivers, want to be a serious contender in the AFC, you just have to have some of those premium names after, the Texans traded for Stephon Diggs, and the Bills and Chiefs are going to angle for receivers in this draft. It's an arms race in the AFC, and the Chargers certainly had to cut ties with Keenan and Mike for financial reasons. But this is the part where now they have to rebuild at that position. So wide receiver number 1.